Hello, everybody.
Hello, hello, hello.
We are live with brand new microphones, by the way.
So hopefully we sound good. We've done a couple of quick tests, but let us know if levels and stuff are a bit.
Yeah, you all know what it's like with audio, with technology in general these days. Hopefully these mics were worth the investment that they were.
Yes.
So how is everybody doing today? Good morning
Okay.
from Texas. Good morning from Newport.
We
From Wales.
Newport.
How are we sounding? Let us know, guys. These are actually the same microphones that Joe Rogan uses, so that's right. Moving on up in the world. I'm briefly looking at some of your comments already, guys. Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of people hating on the show. Unhappy. Yeah, for sure.
Disappointed.
But also a lot of people. I'll bring this one up here. Romulus, geez, why so negative? Yes, there are bad things, but there have also been some very cool things. I just enjoy any Tolkien content. Don't get me wrong. For the most part, I want to agree with that. There's definitely
That's how we went into the show.
Yes, that's exactly how we went into the show. And for the most part, I'm not saying for the most part I've enjoyed the show, but there certainly has been some very cool things, some cool moments, some things that I've loved. But on the whole, when you've got such a big budget and such a big team and such a big property like Middle-earth, I feel like you can't be so lazy with the writing that the writers have been, if that makes sense.
Well, that's what we're kind of going to discuss today of how possibly in one final episode can they save it.
Yeah. Okay, a few people saying that the audio sounds good.
Hey,
That's
happy days.
Like music to my ears because these weren't cheap. Alex says, love the hoodie, bro. Which one?
Gotta be this one.
It's gotta be right. But this one, available on the Tabletop Alliance merch store. John, how's it going, my friend? Nice to see you in here. Good morning from Washington State. We are worldwide today. I love it. James Knight has run out with a very simple solution from the get-go. Fire all the showrunners, actors, screenwriters, and find someone competent. I disagree.
I disagree with all of that.
Yeah. There's definitely some great actors on this show. Definitely. The problem is not the actors. It's it's not the source material. It's the material they're given from, I guess, the showrunners and the writers.
Yes, 100%. Yeah. I definitely think some of the actors have shown they can do a good job. Yeah. Showrunners, well, yeah, I wouldn't say no to a replacement there.
Reminder, this is a show made by an online book retailer. Let's just enjoy Middle-earth. I'm enjoying seeing Middle-earth for sure. It's great to see some of the places that we've never seen brought to life before, such as Numenor, Khazad-dûm in its prime. I've been absolutely loving that. The issue is the story that's being told in them. You know, look, I'm really happy if certain people like it. If you guys are loving the show, that makes me really happy. It's just not for me.
Yeah, and saying online book retailer, Amazon are really trying to make their own studios. They want to challenge Netflix and HBO and Disney and all these things, and this was their attempt to do it. So I think it's been a while since they've just been an online book retailer, to be fair, Amazon.
I get what both of you are saying, to be honest, but at the end of the day, they are the biggest booksellers in the world. So
yes,
for them to make a show that pushes towards selling books is a good business decision.
But however, it was a terrible decision to put stupid covers onto The Lord of the Rings.
I agree.
Which had nothing to do with the story.
I agree. This is a comment I agree with. The actors have been great. The visuals are top-notch. The writing has been atrocious. For the most part, yes.
Yep.
Hello, Jake and James. Congratulations for your great channel. Thank you very much. During a previous live stream, you mentioned that you were football fans. How far do you think Wales will go in the World Cup? I brought this comment up without knowing where it was going.
I didn't realize it was going into a football thing.
Yeah. Yeah, we're huge football fans. We actually recently just started a football channel. It's called Final Whistle Football. We haven't advertised this anywhere, so you can check that out. It has like 70 subs.
Yep.
It's just a bit of fun, really, so we can talk about football in our spare time.
Yeah.
But I can't see Wales going too far.
I think we could get a good knockout game, but as soon as we come up against a top team, we're going to struggle.
The show doesn't need to be saved. It's a very good show. I'm glad you think that. I don't. A lot of things need to change in this finale episode to sway me onto the side of loving this show.
Yes.
I love Lord of the Rings stories. I will take anything more. Same here. I love Lord of the Rings stories, and I would rather have had this show than not have had it.
I feel like
not
this
everything can be good. You know?
Yeah, I feel like this is a good lesson for the future of maybe what not to do. Maybe it's a sign for future productions to go, okay, if we deviate too far, they won't accept it very easily. If we try and change existing characters, it might not go down well.
Well, I mean, this is the thing, that the fact that we've had the Lord of the Rings trilogy and the Hobbit trilogy from Peter Jackson, they were two trilogies that were received very, very, very differently. And I feel like Rings of Power learnt from some of the negatives from the Hobbit trilogy. For example, CGI orcs. They gave us practical looking orcs, and they've been one of the better received things about the show. And a lot of the aspects and the lessons that were learned going into this show, I think, were positive. The issue is they've hired writers and showrunners that are not experienced, not, in my opinion, talented. I'm not saying they're not talented, that's harsh. Not talented enough for a product of or production of this scale. I feel like if you had the right writers going into this with the lessons that the studio seems to have taken on board, then this could have been a very successful show.
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand still how you could give people with so little experience this. I mean, in that recent article, they literally talk about how they couldn't have predicted about how big of a project this was. And you kind of look at that and you go, how could you not predict that? How could you not tell that the most expensive show in one of the biggest like IPs ever is going to be a big thing? I don't understand how that can be an excuse. Or an attempted excuse, because it's not one.
I mean, we did a video on this recently, their interview with Hollywood Reporter. I was expecting to kind of be like, oh, okay, so that's what they've done, and that's the reason for that. But to be honest, most of their things were just like calling critics evil and saying if you don't like the show, you're racist. And I just... It was just a bit like, oh, no. Stephen Kennedy says, from Ireland, you look like Ben Stroke.
I was just looking up who Ben Stroke is.
Who is he? A cricketer? Oh, come on. So, I'm far better looking than this guy. No. Look at this. Look at this handsome man. Come on.
He's got too much hair.
Hey. Destiny says, first time I caught you guys live. Nice. Live? Live. Thank you very much for tuning in. Hopefully you enjoy your time here. A lot of people are saying that the actors on this show overall are great. There you go. Actors are great. I agree. Durin, fantastic.
Yes.
Elrond, brilliant.
Yes.
Adar, incredible.
Yes.
Elendil, so cool.
Yep.
Like, a lot of the cast are fantastic.
Yep.
Like, I even think Morvid Clark is good, just not for Galadriel.
No. Maybe if they gave a... I know it sounds like such a stupid little thing, but maybe if they just made her taller, it might have helped. But literally, editing one of my next videos for the channel today and going through some of the Hobbit footage and seeing Cate Blanchett as Galadriel again in that, and I just look at that again and go,
they nailed that.
Oh man, we had that so good.
Yeah.
We really, like, almost like we couldn't appreciate how well done that was until we had a worse version of it.
Lots of clicks and pops in our audio. That's odd. There shouldn't be.
As in we're peaking, or...
Are you sure it's not the clicking sound of the mouse? No, it's not picking up. I don't know. These are super expensive mics. They should sound so much better than usual.
And is it both of us or just one of us?
Yeah, let us know. Obviously, when we're live, we can't really hear this back instantly, so we rely purely on your feedback, guys, to let us know if there's anything wrong.
I'll quickly try and just listen in on my phone and see what...
Wait, what happened to the world? Why are all these comments positive? I don't think... I mean, I'm seeing a lot of... it's kind of 50-50, if you ask me. I don't know. There are some positives about the show.
It's because we're talking about the actors, and the actors are a good part of the show. Obviously, if we talk more about the story, those comments are going to change quickly. So it's just the subject that we're on right now. I'm sure it'll change.
So Invisible Woman says, do you suspect, as I do, we'll see Anatar in the last 5 seconds of the finale? Yeah, I think this is probably a pretty good shout, if I'm honest. I mean, if it's not going to be someone like everyone theorizes, like a Hellbrand or something like that, then the chances are we'll only get to see the newly revealed Sauron right at the end. If you guys didn't see the most recent teaser, there is actually a line of dialogue in it that states something along the lines of, "They're ready. They will all serve you, Lord Sauron."
Yeah, it's very much setting up that the cultists are going to find Sauron, or But it's one of those that I am also curious on if they're going to actually find Sauron or if they're going to find someone they think is Sauron and it turns out it's not.
Yeah, well, I can see the cultists arriving to find the stranger, and one of them says, "They're ready to serve you, Lord Sauron." And he's like, "Huh? Sauron?
Yeah.
Who's that? That's not me. You got the wrong guy, mate." So yeah, I don't know. Romulus says, "I'm looking forward to your film, guys. Hope it's going well." Thank you very much. Yeah, there's a location viewing a week Friday. Our producer Marcus is going through a lot of stuff this Friday, and then we're going to view one of the main locations the following Friday, which I'm so excited about because it will put some pictures on our Patreon. It will blow your mind if you see it, guys. Honestly, it's
we'll try and just get a few little clips and maybe just put together 30 seconds for all of our patrons to show you what's going on. Obviously, with the Rings of Power being out at the moment, we haven't had the time on top of everything else to do some stuff, but that's why the first Friday after it's finished, we are doing this location scan.
Yeah. Oh no, people are having nightmares. Stranger is Gandalf and cultist is Lady Saruman. Don't worry, that won't be the case. I mean, I hope I don't eat my words there, but yeah.
Lady Saruman.
Obviously, this one today, guys, this live stream is very much a discussion. It's not just us theorizing like usual. This is about, is there a way of saving this season, Rings of Power? So we're very much going to be going in and out of the comments to get your feedback. Andrew says, it's the same reaction I had to Star Wars sequels. Why? When there was so much good existing stories, would have loved to have seen New Shadow finish unadapted.
If Tolkien himself abandoned the New Shadow, I'd maybe be worried about them taking that story and trying to do something with it. I get the idea, but again, it's the whole it's the whole thing of I'm almost disappointed that with all the stuff they could have done with the Second Age, that we've got some of the stuff we've had, and I felt like the Second Age did lend itself so well, and it's why when they first announced that, it seemed like when it was the idea of, are we going to get an Aragorn story or are we going to get a Second Age? Second Age seemed like such a better option. But yeah, it's just not worked. And I kind of feel like it would have gone the same way with the New Shadow of, I don't know. I guess they would have had to have made up a lot there as well.
This comment's in relation to our microphones. Money does not equal great.
I'm assuming that's about the show, isn't it?
I don't know. People are talking here about our mics, though.
Yeah, it was crackling slightly. I don't know if potentially it's maybe one of the wires or something.
Okay. But if it's about our mics, then I agree. Money doesn't equal great, but these are the ones, they're the most recommended podcast mics.
I think it's
Joe Rogan uses them.
Yeah, I think it's a bad XLR cable.
Oh, damn it. Sorry, guys, we are so far behind, again, as usual, on the comments. We pick one and then we talk about it for 10 minutes, and then suddenly we're 100 comments behind.
Yeah, that's fine.
Video also freezes every now and then. That's just great. I just love technology.
Yeah.
I like the guy who plays Celeborn. Wait. Very funny, sir.
I mean, I did in The Lord of the Rings.
Okay, someone has just walked through our door.
He seemed good.
Do you want to carry on by yourself? I need to go and see who this is. Indeed. Sorry, guys.
Okay. So now we can carry on for a moment before Jake comes back. I'm going to catch up with comments. I do apologize for any we are skipping, but to be honest, it's an absolute nightmare to try and keep up with everything. It really is. They fly in, which I really appreciate. But we do have a super chat from Simon. So thank you very much, Simon. Who says, there is nothing to save or not save. This is only an introduction that led to the main story that will be told bigger and better. And I mean, that is the hope. A lot of what we've said about this series as it's gone on, and it's why we were more positive early on than we have been by the end of it all, is that they've had the potential to go somewhere great with it. With all the things they're setting up, they've had somewhere that they could go that would be very good. However, they've not been able to actually complete any of these things. And Jake is back.
Apologies. Were you in the middle of the super chat?
Yeah, we're just discussing, to them. Carry on.
I haven't read it. There is nothing to save or not save. This is only an introduction that led to the main story that will be... Okay, I totally get what you're saying there. I don't know what James has already said. Sorry. I'm out of breath from running up those stairs. Yeah, I'm very much hoping that this season is a world-building season and what's to come is, like they promised, bigger and better. But I also feel like it's not an excuse for poor writing and story decisions.
No, it's very much like what I was kind of saying was that they kind of set stuff up early that they could have gone a certain way with it and it could have been good.
I agree.
And they took bad choices, made bad choices, took the wrong direction with a few things, and it has made it bad. Now, we may come back to it and go, okay, season 1 is the one we don't rewatch. Seasons 2 to 5 are incredible, and it becomes one of the greatest shows.
Yeah, that's still like a strong chance that could happen.
Yeah, it does slightly worry me that they've started shooting season 2 before season 1 has been fully released and they can get some feedback. Because I feel like for that kind of thing, like taking in feedback is a very big thing.
Yeah.
If the audience are very much against something, then obviously I would say if it breaks the law, you may not want to change it, but they don't seem to care too much about that anyway. So I don't know why they wouldn't want to listen to what the fans want.
Yeah, the issue for me is even if this is an introduction season, it's a world building season, that's not an excuse for Galadriel to act like a grumpy teenager or for Mithril to be a Silmaril. Things like that are just really hard for me to take on board, you know?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But thank you very much for the super chat. We really appreciate
Yes,
it. We
thank
have
you.
another one. This one from Connor Davis. Hi guys, my question to you is, if Rings of Power is successful with its 5 seasons, would you like to see a third age season, War of the Witch King? Yeah, seeing the rise of the Witch King would be awesome in live action.
Yeah, well, funnily enough, I would actually really like... I don't know why this story, because it always sticks in my head. I'd love to see this story as, like, in anime form. I feel like the rise of Angmar and everything there would... I don't know why anime just sticks in my head with it, and I could not tell you one reason why that is the case. But I feel like it could be a great... Like, if the War of the Rohirrim movie does well, and to be honest, at this point, we don't even know the style that that's actually going to be in. Like, exact art style type thing. So, I don't know, maybe that could be a future movie for that kind of thing, as opposed to another series. I would definitely love to see more Third Age stuff, though.
So would I. I'd like to see First Age. It's not going to happen, though.
I would like to see First Age, but I feel like... I don't know, I feel like I'm drawn more towards Third Age. Maybe just because of...
Most are.
Yeah, maybe because of getting into it through Lord of the Rings, that's the time that is closest to my heart. I mean, I love it all, but there's just something about that era that's special.
Yeah. Thanks so much, Connor, for your super chat.
Yes, thank you.
Gamer S. Haven says, after playing Shadow of War and feeling the menacing rage of Celebrimbor, then I saw him in the series. Was confused. Yeah, I mean, the Shadow of Mordor and the Shadow of War games, as much fun and as great as they are, like, they're some of my favorite games ever. They exaggerated a lot, which I'm fine with. It's a game. It's basically video game fan fiction, which is what this show is. It's TV series fan fiction. The issue is here, it's reaching a much larger audience than a video game would, and they're making some crazy decisions. I don't know. Give it another season, give it this finale, and I may be massively on board with it. They may surprise us. The showrunners have said that this show gets better as it goes on. Episode 7 sucked and was super slow. They've got a lot to do in this episode. I feel like it needs to be 2 hours to make up for it.
Yeah, it basically needs to be a standalone movie that just resets everything and starts again.
Comment here, it doesn't hold up as entertainment. That's a drastic... it's a big statement. I don't know if I'd go that far. It entertains me. I've watched every episode twice, because James and I get up early on the Friday and watch it together. And then obviously we have an after party with you guys and we hang out and talk about it. And then I get home and I watch it with my fiance. And I normally find it a struggle to get through the second time. But I'm always willing to do it. So it's got to be partly entertaining, right? It's just frustrating entertainment, I think.
Yeah, again, a lot of it comes back to if it didn't have the name Lord of the Rings attached to it, how would it really be taken? I still don't think great, but I also don't think it would be... Some of the worst bits wouldn't be as bad as they seem either.
I think it would get a lot of attention for how beautiful it looks. And I don't know if you guys saw this, but apparently the episode 7 intro, I sent you this, right?
Yeah.
You all know the scenes in the orange smoke cloud and how that was lit. Apparently that was straight out of the camera, that colour. If that's true, that's very impressive. If that's not just a massive colour grade, I'd be shocked. But the cinematographer has said that straight out of the camera, which I think's very impressive. Matthew says, hello, I'm a fairly new subscriber to your channel. Love hearing the thoughts of massive Tolkien fans. Question, what actor would you pick to play Sauron? Well, first of all, welcome to our channel. Thanks for subscribing. It's a tough question. Sauron.
So I'm guessing this would be Sauron as Anatar. So someone beautiful.
Just ask me, James. I don't know. I like to say Benedict Cumberbatch for everything, but I don't know if he'd go the beautiful owl. I don't know.
I think he would. I think he could pull it off.
Henry Cavill.
I've forgotten his name again. The one who's just been rumored to be playing Thrawn in the Ahsoka show.
He's not beautiful.
No, but I feel like he's got the mysterious effect enough that when you turn him into, I would say a long-haired elf, but maybe not. Maybe he wouldn't have long hair. There's something. Sometimes I feel like the aura might be more important than the beauty, and there's some people like that. I think just have something. But it's also hard because they probably don't want to go for anyone very well known.
Yeah,
Peter Jackson should do it.
Yeah, it's a really tough question. Who would you pick, Matthew? Let us know. Lord of the House of Stormcrows. Keep up the great work. You guys are the best. Thank you very much. I don't know if... I like what you're saying here, but I don't know if Bezos is the one that needs to be cursed. All he did was give up the money, essentially, his company. It's the showrunners we need to be cursing, I think.
And also, if they get cursed into being the dead, they actually stay around for a lot longer. So if anything, they don't want to be cursed. They just want to be killed, because otherwise he might be around for much longer than just his life.
Okay, Justin says, are you guys expecting to see Anatar at the end of the finale?
Yes.
Yes. Now, obviously everybody and their mother thinks that Halbrand is Sauron, right? They've given us about 37 hints that he is at this point. I feel like they're trying to make us go, he's obviously Sauron. Now, I hope he's not. I think if he is, and that's the way they're going with it, which it may be, I think that'll be revealed a little earlier on in the episode, maybe. I think if we haven't seen Sauron yet, or Anatar, then I think it'll be left to the very closing moments of the episode.
Yeah, I feel like it's just how it's got to end. With the way this whole season has gone, I don't see what else could be that final thing of the season. I mean, I suppose though, actually, okay. Thinking about it on the other hand then, for playing, don't know if it counts devil's advocate, whatever, but argue the opposite side. If you don't know anything about Tolkien, you have no idea who Anatar is. You need to have a good cliffhanger for them. So for someone who knows nothing about the world, and then the final shot, the final big season moment is, oh my god, this is Anatar. And you've got I don't know how much the audience, half the audience who don't know, probably more than half the audience watching this show would not know who Anatar is. That just means potentially more than half of your audience going, what?
Yeah.
Why does that matter? Who is this? Should I care who this is? So, yeah, maybe it won't be at the very end. Maybe it has to be near the end, but there has to be something more with it.
Yeah, I don't know. This is an interesting question that we touched on last week. The real question is, will the Rings of Power drive newer audiences away from the books? Now, like we said earlier, obviously Amazon is the biggest book retailer in the world. So I guess part of their business model for this was to push people towards the books, and they would obviously buy them through Amazon. If I was not a fan of Tolkien's work, if I had never read the books and I had just watched this show, I don't... It's tough to say that do anything. Which I can't. We're having some technical difficulties, as we always do, with our ridiculous. We've literally had engineers here today. Can you guys hear us?
Okay, can people hear us? Actually, are we still live?
Put up a picture because I imagine that's hated.
I need to. Um.
It's just like
Yeah,
dropped.
don't know. The button's got red on there.
You're joking. Right. Are we back? That is the real question. Getting some whoop. Yes, okay. Damn. That was crazy. I'm really impressed that almost 300 of you still waited around for us to come back, though. Thank you so much, guys. That was super frustrating. We obviously apologize for that. It's an absolute nightmare dealing with this internet. I can't put into words how frustrating it is. We're literally.
It's almost like we need to rent an entire new space just for somewhere that has good internet that we just travel to do these.
That's crazy.
Because this is ridiculous.
It is
anyway,
ridiculous.
we are back. That's all that matters.
Thank you very much for sticking around. We appreciate that. Okay.
Oh, God, get comfy
We did
again
have
now.
a super chat that we missed because of that cut.
Yeah, and who else thinks that was Jeff Bezos?
We can't even go back to the super chat now.
Ooh. Okay, if you left a super chat, could you please... I'll see if I can find it on my phone, actually.
I
So,
hate this. Sorry, guys. It's literally embarrassing. That's how I feel about it.
Wow.
I'm trying... Yeah. No, I can't,
I can't go back up far
If you
enough.
left a super chat, guys, please just put it back here.
Or if you know what the question was.
Put it in capitals.
Yeah.
If you guys use Stream Elements or OBS, I have a lot of knowledge on it. We don't. We currently use StreamYard. It seems so simple on the surface, but
the thing is, it's nothing to do with this. It's nothing to do with the software. It's purely the internet we get in the estate that we're on.
Mhm.
You cannot get fiber here. It's not run, and they have
no.
No. You don't have to pay up again.
Just put your question in capitals.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Oh, no. Super chat. Orlando
Okay.
Bloom for Anatar just to mess with us was my super chat. Right. Thanks for the super chat and thank you for resending it. Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't complain. Imagine the conspiracy theories out there. It's all part of the same canon. It's the same universe. Legolas has been Sauron all along.
They'll bring Orlando Bloom in, but with brown hair this time.
Yeah.
Because for those of you who don't know, when Lord of the Rings first happened, people kicked off that Legolas had blonde hair, not brown. So if they bring him back now with brown hair, maybe they'll be happy.
Stream 21. Thank you,
Yeah.
Darkwood. Was there more super chats? Are you sure?
Is
I didn't
everyone
see
just
these.
saying this now? Just
That's cheating. The best thing that can come after season 1, cancellation.
no.
I don't want that. I just want them to fix it.
Yeah, I don't think it's the best thing because at the end of the day, okay, it's been disappointing, but I feel that can be saved with only one season down. We've only seen 8 episodes. I know, okay, we've still seen 8 whole episodes. It's a lot, but
Nearly.
there's but there's so many more that could bring it back. It has potential. I think the worry is if they don't change any of the team behind it or add to it. That's the most worrying part.
Yes, he does in the movies.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Because he didn't like his contact lenses.
Yeah, how strange.
That'd be me. I'd be like, nah, I can't do it.
Hey, Jake and James, congrats on Austin St. John watching one of your videos, Jake. I like most, but not all of the show. Thanks. Yeah, Austin watching a video was awesome. He sent me a private message as well, which is really cool. A private video message too, which is great. Same as me in regards to the show. I like some, not all. Mega epic super chat. Y'all are awesome. That's not how super chats work, guys. But appreciate it. Yeah, this is something that really bugs me. I don't like how there was no explanation of how they survived a Pompeii-level volcano. I see a lot of people saying, oh, you can believe that there's elves and dwarves and hobbits and stuff, but you can't get over this. Grow up. I think that's a really, really poor excuse to accept lazy writing. For me, to be immersed within a fantasy world, you have to kind of believe what's going on, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, it has to be grounded in real laws almost.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like I'm not quite as bothered by it in the sense of the way I think of it. I just put it in the same bracket, whether rightly or wrongly, of it's like getting shot in movies. The amount of people who survive shots with bullets or even arrows in the case of this, when realistically they would be dead. It doesn't mean just because you got shot like in the leg that you're fine. It's not quite as simple as that. Like,
No,
if you're shot on the shoulder and like it's always that thing.
Yes,
of,
but even in real life, people survive getting shot in the head and make full recoveries. But
yeah, but I mean that it's just more of a generally accepted thing in movies. People have a higher death tolerance.
yeah, I don't know. It's just a bit meh. Drank Gaming Vids. Me knowing a lot of the lore, I'm disappointed with the series so far, but talking to my brother, a huge fan of the films, he finds it awesome and great. So I guess that's how it is. Yeah, I guess. I don't know if this show just appeals to fans of the films over fans of the source material as a whole, but I guess if you don't know the ins and outs of the lore and at least the second age, then it's probably easier to kind of enjoy.
I think the biggest audience who will find the show good is a general fantasy fan, not necessarily a particular diehard of your Lord of the Rings, your Wheel of Time, or whatever, Witcher, stuff like that, but just someone who generally likes fantasy. I think it's probably a better show for them than anyone else.
Yeah. This is a good question. Hey guys, do you think that you can't fully review the quality of the season without watching all the future seasons? Yes. And this is what we've been saying so far throughout season 1, is it's difficult to really judge season 1 without having a full understanding of all the payoffs. In the early episodes, maybe the first 3 to 4, we were saying that any decisions that we didn't like, perhaps they were going to lead to payoffs later on in the season. We'd be like, oh, that was really clever. Then as the season went on, we were a bit, I guess, full of sighs. And it became more evident that that wasn't the case and the writing was just not great. So I agree and disagree.
Yeah, I think with a season on its own, you should be able to judge as is. I don't think you should need other seasons to judge a whole season, but I do feel like you need other episodes to judge episodes within a season, if that makes sense.
Yeah. John said that the imagery with Sauron and the orcs there is amazing. However, we really didn't get anything remotely close to that for the rest of the show. Not specifically Sauron, just the whole feel overall. Yeah, you hit the nail on the head there. I think this was almost a false promise. I saw this and I was like, oh boy, we are in for a treat. And then as the show has gone on, we've seen nothing like this. Even visually, like you say, it's not come close. I like the orcs in the show. I like Adar in the show. But this was showing off something that could have been great. And it was almost a little bit of a tease, you know?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's just sad. I want to see more of that Sauron. I just want to see that.
Yeah. We have some other images up too. I'm not sure if they're... Of course they're not. I hate this computer, James. So, just to explain our technical frustrations, guys, we literally bought a new computer just for live streaming, and it sucks. Right, since this is the next image, let's just go on to this. The Stranger. Meteor Man.
Okay. See, from so early on, I've said, this can't be Gandalf. It's got to be a blue wizard.
Yeah.
Ooh, I think I'm peeking a bit.
Oh. Yeah, I mean... Everyone has said very early on, it looks like our internet's dropping out again. Oh my god.
Hope you can at least hear us, even if you can't see us.
Yeah, people have been obsessing over the fact that this character... Early on, people were saying it's clearly Sauron. I think that theory has died down, and now everybody is convinced after the last episode that it's Gandalf. I'm still not on board with this. And this is another one of those where I won't be happy if it is Gandalf. Especially if they call him Gandalf. But I don't know. Like people keep saying, to bring the casuals in, you need the recognizable character. And who's more recognizable from Tolkien's universe than Gandalf?
Well, yeah. That's
the OG wizard.
Yeah, it's just it. Like we've said, we've lost faith in the writers and the showrunners that they're going to do anything very clever. So I feel like we've got to lean towards the obvious at this point. And sadly, the obvious is Gandalf.
A lot of people, including James, have theorized that it's one of the blue wizards. And there's a comment here. Oh, where'd that go? Didn't the blue wizards come over on the boat in the Third Age year 1000?
Well, technically no, but also yes. It's
classic Tolkien, right?
Yeah, it's basically he changed his mind later on, and it depends which version you really want to count as your canon. Originally, all the Five Astari came at the same time in the Third Age. However, later on, he changed it so that the two blue wizards came in the Second Age around the time the forging of the One Ring happened, at the same time as Glorfindel. So, technically, the blue wizards were around in the Second Age, if you take that as your canon. Which, personally, I do. I take it as they did come an age earlier. But I don't think there's necessarily a this is right, this is wrong version of events with them.
This is an interesting comment. I think the Rings of Power people were like, hey guys, you know of the 5 Astari wizards, right? What if there was a 6th Astari? And they went with it. See, yeah, but the problem with
The
that...
pink wizard.
The problem with that is no. No. There is not a 6th Astari. No. That's how I feel about that, you know?
Yeah, it's...
Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Yes.
I wouldn't roll it out.
So, neither would I. Jay says, one thing I'll say is if season 1 ends without revealing who Meteor Man is, I'm going to be pissed. Me too.
Oh, they can't have built up this whole season and all the previews to the season about this Meteor Man and us not get an answer to who he is in season 1.
Well, the mystery of who he is the only real mystery we have in this show, because most things, like even when Galadriel said last week that Celeborn is dead, I'm just a bit like, nah, he's not going to be though. He's going to come back at some point, because I feel like killing off a really important character like Celeborn is not acceptable, and I feel like the Tolkien estate wouldn't have okayed that. So I feel like he will come back at some point. So I feel like to keep us on board with the show, they have to answer that question. Or they're like, this is the only thing stringing people along. They want to know the identity. So they're going to drag it out as long as they can. Who knows?
Yeah.
I think this is the most likely outcome. He's some sort of Maya. I agree.
Yeah. I mean, it is definitely a potential thing. I just don't know how they're going to explain his arrival, how it happened, and just why he's there. I can't understand these answers at all.
Stranger equals Celeborn, lost and found. I don't think he's an elf though, and he's also bearded, so he ain't Círdan. Yeah, I don't think so. I just saw someone asking then, have we read anything you can imagine, the Peter Jackson biography? I've got it. I've read the first chapter on holiday once, but I don't think I ever finished it.
Is that the grey cover with Peter
Yeah,
Jackson
I think it
on the
is.
front?
Yeah. Did you read some of it?
I feel like I did, but I can't really remember now.
Okay, this is another theory that I've heard people talk about as well. What if they merge the 2 Blue Wizards into the Stranger? Again, I would hate it, because...
Then you've got the 4 Astari.
Yeah. Unless they've merged the 2 Blue Wizards into a Blue Wizard who's somewhere else in the universe, and he is a new 5th Astari. So there's still 5 Astari, but he's a new one. The Yellow Wizard.
Oh dear God. All these things just sound like really bad fan fiction.
They do. Clueless Fangirl, what's up?
Ah,
How's it going?
hello there.
Hello there. The Stranger is Keller Brandalf. I think you're right.
Celebrandalf Deardan. Deardan? I don't.
The show has been great for those creators that like clickbait. You search Rings of Power and boom. I wonder what they're going to do the next couple of years without, crickets. Huh? Without what? Are you talking about us?
I think I'm assuming you're on about like the rage tubers and stuff. Like, what are they going to post about? They'll probably go back to Star Wars.
Yeah.
I'm sure something else will happen.
I mean, it's so funny talking about this show as a creator, because we can say something positive, like I absolutely love Khazad-dûm and Durin is fantastic. The casting was perfect. Yeah, and everyone's like, oh my god, you shill. You've sold out for Amazon.
Shill.
You should be disgusted. I'm never watching a video again. I've unsubscribed and I'm telling all my friends to hate you. Like, we get that's real. And then we're like, oh, I hate how Galadriel is portrayed in this show. It's not true to her character at all. And everyone's like, oh my god, you're so harsh. I hate you. I'm unsubscribing and I'm telling all my friends to hate you too. That's literally how this has gone.
Yeah.
And anyone that covers Tolkien content on YouTube and talks about this show will tell you the same thing. It's been crazy. I've never experienced anything, and I'm into a lot of fandoms. I'm a massive Star Wars fan, a massive Star Trek fan, obviously Tolkien fan, like loads of different fandoms. I've never experienced anything like this in my life. It's been crazy.
No, it's absolutely insane. And I mean, it's a good job you can switch off from the comments a lot of the time, because it is insane. And there's some of the stuff people say is just disturbing.
Yeah.
That people just come out with that, but hey, it's the internet. Keyboard warriors will be keyboard warriors.
Yeah. It is mental. Oh, okay. Yeah. Are we making a video about the changes you would do? Yes, we are. So we're going to obviously wait until the end of season 1, which is only 2 more days. Once we have seen the full season and we can take in and digest everything that's been given to us, we are going to get our chalkboard, we're going to rub it out, and we're going to present to you our own version of a Second Age TV show.
Oh, yes.
It'll be fun. People in YouTube comments aren't real people, including me. Wow. Well, we are real, so stop being mean to us.
All the bots are back.
The show has divided the fandom. It really has. It's divided me. Awful show, great channel. Thank you so much. You're the best. Can't wait for Sauron to be Hellbrand. Yeah, probably. Hey, it's not your fault. I appreciate your apology on the behalf of other people. But yeah, we've been doing this a number of years now, and you grow pretty thick skin. In fact, we just actually got fat. We actually have thick skin now.
Imagine now, the stranger gets to wherever they're going to go, and he goes, you know what, I'm going off. I'm going to go on this raft. And then you get like one of those weird like time moments, and he somehow shaves his hair, turns into Halbrand, who ends up beating Galadriel, and then is Sauron. So in the end, the stranger and Halbrand are both Sauron.
Oh, Christ.
You're welcome.
It can't be. Clueless Fangirl wants a poll, James. Give the people what they want.
I couldn't do it, could I?
We did it last time.
Bear with.
Oh, wait, I did it on here, didn't I?
Yeah, because yeah, we'll do it on there because I can't do it on my phone.
Yeah, I think I had to open Safari and do it from there. We'll work on a poll while I'm trying to also answer comments. This is going to be difficult. We've had a super chat. Let me try and catch up a little bit. From Andrew. Thank you very much, Andrew. Troll the haters. Make a shirt that the front is Amazon shill and hate the Amazon on the back and switch it depending on the episode. That's a genius idea.
We'll probably just get sued again for mentioning Amazon or something.
Yeah. I mean, the amount of times we've been called the broken shills, I would say it's in the thousands now. So, like, people think they're being so funny. Like, oh, I know what will get them. I've got a really original comment. The broken shills. Like, good one. We've seen that 600 times today.
I would love, though, like...
But what I was getting to is a broken shill t-shirt.
Yeah. I was going to say, I would love the one of a Silmaril with the Silmarillion.
Yeah,
like, I like that idea.
I love that.
I think that idea was a lovely one. But again, I'm not sure that couldn't sell it on Amazon.
Was that actually true? Jake, we heard screaming when you went to check on that guy at the door. What did you do to him? You don't want to know. He was trying to steal from us. He actually was, by the way. That's why he came here.
Oh.
He took the wood from out the front.
Oh, okay. Fair.
He was like, do you want some money? And I was just like, no, bye. He just took it. It was soaking wet. Anyway, thank you, Andrew, for the super chat. Really appreciate that.
Yeah, there's a couple of comments there about, or there's that one by Bushka Blue. I still want to know how Halbrand ended up in the sea.
Yeah.
I kind of want to know a bit more about that as well. Like, it seemed a very dramatic way to go, considering everyone seems to be able to ride and travel inland very quickly. So, yeah.
Very odd. Do you guys like the show so far? Are you invested? No, don't like the show. I'm invested because we run a Middle-earth channel.
Yeah, I feel like I have to be invested.
Yeah.
And I would be very curious to see if I would be watching it completely if I had no attack. If it, like, again, if it didn't have Lord of the Rings in the name, would I have got to the end of the first season? Not sure.
Oh my god, this is the best one. The series can be wholly redeemed if in the third act of the finale, Galadriel looks directly into the camera and says, "It's Morpheth time." I love it. It's great.
Oh my god, and then...
And she has to hold like a morpher.
And then the stranger pulls one out, and Halbrand pulls one out.
Tyrannosaurus! Oh god.
But then it cuts to the really crap park, like shot in the park.
Incredible. Yes, like all good shills, you've shown varying levels of disdain towards the show. Yeah, exactly. That's what shills do, right?
Yes.
Crazy. Thank you so much. You're also great. Okay, so again, miles behind on comments.
Let's catch up.
I'm trying to catch up. So how would you guys fix the show? Well, that's kind of why we're here. Like I just said, after the finale, we will try and do how we would have done the show. So for now, we're trying to talk about if it can be saved. What we've had so far, can it be redeemed in one episode? like I said earlier, I think it would have to be one hell of a long episode to fix all the mistakes. I mean, there's certain things they can't fix at this point. Can they go back on Mithril being a Silmaril or from a Silmaril? No.
No.
They've made that fact now.
They could have, and then the last episode destroyed that.
Yeah.
I don't know if they can... Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know. Okay, let me think. Could they save the Stranger?
Stranger? Let me just get that up.
I think potentially... Yes, they could if they turn him into one of the Blue Wizards. The star thing is him trying to find something, the other Blue Wizard. Could be nice. Find out there was actually more than one meteor, perhaps, and it was just different people were seeing one of two, as opposed to all seeing the same one, which would maybe also explain the geography of the flight path and everything.
Yeah.
Don't really know how this works with the cultists. I mean, there was the story that one or each or both of the Blue Wizards actually fell to evil, and they basically become like leaders of cults in the East. Whether that means anything, I think it's possible, but I also struggle to see how they would really make that work. So
yeah. Low Flyer Side says fix the show by giving it actual dialogue. Now this is an interesting one because a lot of the dialogue is just so bad, but there's the odd line that gets thrown in where I'm like, that's a great line. Like there's the conversation between Elrond and Durin in the like mine shaft elevator thing, elevator shaft rather, where they're talking about being in a blink of an eye for an elf, but a lifetime for a dwarf, and things like that. Like I really like the dialogue. Galadriel had an early line where she said something. I think it was to Halbrand, like I've lost more loved ones than you could name in your lifetime, or something along that. And I thought that was a really great line. I just butchered it, but yeah, there's been the odd great line.
I think there's those things that are actually quite human about it all that really help you like understand the characters better, and a lot better than there being a tempest in her. Like it's just,
Stephen feels like he's the only one that likes the show. I don't think so. A lot of people do like it. We hear a lot of positives, and that's great. And we have a lot of positives too, just more negatives.
Yes. I feel it is the more you're interested in the deeper lore of Tolkien, the more you don't like it. And here on the channel, you're more likely to find people more obsessed with the deeper lore, which is probably why there's a more potentially negative overall feeling towards the show here.
Yeah.
But there are definitely a lot of people who do like it. So
Blake says, this is indeed one of the shows of all time. You're right. It is one of the shows. Clueless Fangirl, honestly, I think the behind-the-scenes footage will be better than the actual show, just like with Obi. I think I like that footage. I actually 100% agree with you. I cannot wait to see the behind-the-scenes. Like I said, the visuals, fantastic. I like a lot of the costume as well, which I know a lot of people hate, but like I like some of it. So seeing all the behind-the-scenes, I hope they go as in-depth as the Peter Jackson trilogy, Lord of the Rings trilogy. The behind-the-scenes on those films are game-changing to our lives. Like, we probably wouldn't be filmmakers without those behind the scenes. So I'd love to see something like that. Hopefully they also talk about some of their decisions on the story.
No chance.
Then Jared Leto flies out of Mount Doom. I feel like I've missed something there, but that wouldn't surprise me at this point. Hi there, just popped in. Did you already cover the outcome Galadriel waking up from a bad dream? You mean the whole season being a bad Galadriel? Oh, boy. I mean, that would give us the opportunity to start again in season 2, which I guess would be a good thing. Did I get... Wow, we are so far behind.
Yes.
Okay, let's get to the super chat. Nick says, could the stranger be a reincarnated Sauron after Adar killed him? Wahlberg mentions that the meteor was a sign about Sauron's return. Yeah, this is a very strong theory. It could be, but I just don't get why he would be showing signs of good, and also he wouldn't be able to speak, and I don't know. This is not really how it works in Middle Earth.
I mean,
as far as we know.
The whole idea of the Astari being sent was as a counter to Sauron creating the Rings of Power. Well, sorry, creating the One Ring to control the Rings of Power. So, yeah, the meteor being a sign of Sauron's return kind of works in that way, that the sign of them sending basically backup shows that Sauron is returning because somehow there's a One Ring going to be forged. But I don't know how that could ever be prophesized and stuff anyway. But then, obviously, that also mentions that or hints at that he could be Sauron as well still. I just don't know. I
mean, it's a strong theory.
Yeah.
I hope it's not the case. I just don't want the stranger to be Sauron at all. But thank you very much for your comment and your super chat. Save what the season was good, 7 or 8 out of 10. I'm really glad you feel that way, genre art with JB. But, I mean, it's been pretty evident that the majority of the Tolkien fandom has despised this show. Yeah, it's been a tough one. Again, and I feel like a broken record, there are a ton of positives to take from this show. I just wanted more. People did nothing but complain about the Lord of the Rings films as well. I loved them. Yeah, if any of you were around for the lead up to Peter Jackson's films coming out, there was so many nasty things being said about that as well. The difference is, when people saw the films, it was mostly positive. The difference is here, people have seen the show and it's gotten worse. So, yeah, tough.
Yeah.
Okay, the scene between Adar and Galadriel was very well written. I agree. That was a really good scene. It was performed well. It was written well. Adar was great. The issue I had with it is, and I think we talked about this on the Melonheads podcast, the Council of Elrond podcast, is if you add some different music into that scene, under that scene when Galadriel is speaking, she sounds like the evil character. She comes across very, very evil.
She literally threatens him to watch him kill all of basically his children, as they are seen at this point, for him to watch.
Keep him alive, yeah.
Keep him alive while she kills all of his children, and then she will kill him. Like, what?
Yeah, that's not Galadriel.
Like, yeah, I get there were aspects of it that were nice, but also it was the whole thing of, yes, they're finally bringing Galadriel, they're redeeming her a bit, they're turning her into that character that we expect and want. And actually, never mind, 180. Yeah, forget that.
Yeah. Oh, we have another super chat. I didn't even see that one. Tom, in my opinion, they should soft reboot it in season 2. I would, yeah, I mean, I agree, but it's just...
They won't.
They won't. It's such an investment at this point. I feel like they have to just continue the way they're going. Sadly.
Yeah. Yeah.
What other pictures do we have? Oh, I'm going... Let's have Halbrand.
Okay. So, how can we... What is the best outcome for Halbrand?
King of the Dead I'd be okay with.
Yeah, I'm very much on that board. I mean, there's been all the rumours, again, with him potentially being the king because of the sigil he wears, the thing on his necklace that supposedly that links to the King of the Dead. I can't remember the exact thing. It's something to do with the name of that bird, which I've completely forgotten. Translates something from the King of the Dead. But basically it's a big link again. But there's just so many hints that these characters are all different people, like all the hints with music. I saw a TikTok video, funnily enough, of there's 5 notes that are used in Sauron's theme that are also used in Halbrand's theme, or very similar in the same way. And it's just one of those which is just like, come on now. Either this is weirdly coincidental or it's so obvious.
I would actually quite enjoy him being the King of the Dead. We don't know too much about the King of the Dead's backstory, and it's pretty obvious. Well, I mean, I guess spoilers, but Isildur's not going to be dead, like they're making it seem.
What?
At some point, they will come into contact with one another. Obviously, Halbrand is essentially the king of the Southlands now, which is now Mordor. So there's going to be this weird, like, in between where should he fight for Sauron or should he fight for the Last Alliance? And I don't know. I feel like it's going to be...
I'm not even sure it's the should he fight for Sauron. I think a lot of it comes to, is he willing to let people die again?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree.
Is the battle even worth fighting?
I agree, and I feel like that's the route they're going down. I feel like it makes sense for them to go in that direction, and there will be a scene, whether it's season 3, 4, whatever, where Isildur is like, Lord Halbrand, I need you and your men to join us. And he's like, no, I'm not getting involved. So he curses him.
Yeah.
You Sauron follower. You are cursed. So yeah, it makes sense to me. Nathan, £1 super sticker. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. We have another couple of super chats somewhere. Wow. Okay, we've just skipped about 100 comments.
Oh, and they were two super chats
two together. Gian, I apologize. I don't think I've seen it mentioned before, but what if Adar becomes the mouth of Sauron? Unlikely. Adar is an elf. The mouth of Sauron is supposed to have been a black Numenorian. So
Yeah.
wrong race. But who knows with this show?
Yeah, I mean, it shouldn't be the case at all.
Thank you very much for the super chat. Super chat from Chris. Thank you very much. Introduce Celeborn as the catalyst that scales back Galadriel. Make Elendil and Isildur important again. Also partner with Warner Brothers for Lord of the Rings costume designs. I agree with all those things. I think Celeborn coming back into the show could make Galadriel happier, calmer, get rid of her stroppy teenagerness. And Elendil and Isildur do need to be more important. And I would also like to bring Anarion into that kind of trio. And as for costume designs, I like some of them. I like what Halbrand's wearing right there. I think that looks nice. I actually really like the white Numenorian armor. I know a lot of people hate it. I'm a fan. Galadriel's armor, I think, looks awful. But yeah, overall,
I think Galadriel's armor looks nice. I just don't think it's suited.
It didn't suit. It didn't even seem to fit her properly. I don't know.
No, like it's one of those, like if that was in not her, like in something else, I think it would look really nice. Like I think it's a well designed piece, just not for her in a show.
Invisible Woman says, I'll watch a whole show with Adar at this point, with Elrond, Disa, and Durin. Yes, those are absolutely the best parts of this show overall. I agree. A few people saying that Halbrand will either be a Nazgul, Witch King, or the King of the Dead. Yeah.
Yeah, I would definitely take that a million times over him being Sauron.
Nathan says, what was the reason again that people became the dead? Because they wouldn't fight for Isildur, so he cursed them, essentially. So the story, like I was saying, could definitely go this way.
Yeah.
Again, we're miles behind on the comments, so I could be answering something that's already been said, but yeah. Another super chat. Thoughts on Theo being King of the Dead?
I still feel like Theo is more likely to end up one of the Nazgul.
I agree.
I feel like he's being set up to be this soldier now, this future warrior, and I think he's going to be someone that's going to want power. And I think he's someone who could be ensnared by the lure of power. So, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's kind of that, like he might be the kid that we see grow up in the show. We spend all this time here seeing him go from basically a boy into a man and then see him fall. It would be quite tragic.
It would be tragic, and I would like to see it. I gotta be honest. Ruben Diaz says, just awful TV writing that has no real rhyme or reason. 500 million for production, but not one single interesting or unique angle from the directors. John Wick cost less and looked and flowed better. The problem is, John Wick had one mighty advantage. Keanu Reeves.
Yes. It was, to be fair, for one, John Wick was a masterpiece.
Yeah.
If you like that kind of film, it was absolutely brilliant. But also, John Wick knew what it was, knew what it could do, knew what it did well, and lent into that. The Rings of Power just doesn't know where it's going by the seams of it, even though they claim they do.
Just saw. Halbrand's armor is also covered in decorative rings. Hint from costume designers. How many rings? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Oh, right.
I wonder if there's 9 rings across his chest.
I've seen other things. If there's links with other parts linked to the design of the King of the Dead from the Lord of the Rings movies.
Yeah.
But then I guess, there's also the link of the rings being linking to Rings of Power.
Like looking from what we can see there where it's cropped, it could very easily be 9 rings across his chest, which could be an interesting hint right there. Or we could be looking too much into it. I don't know. I do always wonder that. Like, us kind of... When you're massively into a fandom and you theorize a lot, I feel like people very much look too deep sometimes.
Yeah, and sometimes that can actually ruin a show. Of that... Sometimes you can never live up to the hopes and dreams of all these like fan theories and stuff. Yeah, sometimes it just doesn't. It just can't. Like, it can't. If it doesn't go exactly the way you want it, sometimes that can just always be a letdown.
Yeah.
And then if you predicted it, you just go, "Well, I predicted that." So, yeah.
What if they do kill off Isildur and have his sister replace him in the lore, like Eowyn? She just wears a helmet and pretends to be him. No.
No. Don't even say that out loud.
Anna Mendel says, nice mics, guys. I have the same one in my recording studio. Great for podcasts and rock vocals. Really? I did say I want to do some heavy metal. But yeah, this is our first time using them. I'm not sure if live is the best way of doing it because our internet sucks. But if it sounds okay, then I'm happy. They certainly feel cooler. I believe we have another super chat. Oh, we had just no question from Josie85. Thank you so much. I've seen this question going around a lot. Which, in your opinion, is better, Peter Jackson's Hobbit or Rings of Power?
I would say The Hobbit.
I would agree.
I feel like The Hobbit is one of those movies that I can go back to now and enjoy.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it when it first came out because of the nostalgia of going back into Middle-earth. Then it kind of got worse over a bit of time when I actually stepped back and went, yeah, you know what? A lot of this is not right. And then as time's gone on, obviously ignoring certain aspects of it, I do enjoy it.
Why did Slim Shady burn the camps? The question for me isn't why. I mean, the answer to that, I guess, is just evil. The bigger concern for me here is how overpowered is that? Like, if Sauron has soldiers in his army, in his following, that can do that, it's not going to be much of a battle. If he's got, like, these girls that... Imagine the Chargers Row hear him, and that, Slim Shady just stands there and goes, whew, and suddenly they're all on fire. It's not much of a fight. It just seems super overpowered to me. I don't get it. It just silly. Well, thanks for the payment. Okay. Yeah, a lot of people saying they wouldn't be shocked by more law breaking, and that's a problem. Is people are saying these crazy theories, and it's getting to the point where I'm just saying, yeah, I can't write it off because you just never know at this point. Is there a full story on how the Oathbreakers became the undead? I think we have a video on it. We definitely did on History of the Ages. I can't remember if we redid it.
Yeah. I believe we have one on this channel. I believe so.
Have a look on our channel. But there is a backstory, but not too much detail. Again, sorry, trying to catch up with these comments. Yeah, that is exactly right, Chris. The overuse of CGI and false romance story killed the Hobbit. Those definitely did. Let's all take a second to remember Legolas's gravity-defying stunt in Battle of the Five Armies.
Yeah.
Where he runs up rocks that are falling.
Yeah. That is the one thing when people say, like, Peter Jackson should have been given the Rings of Power kind of thing. Well, it's like, as the films went on, Legolas's stunts got so much more extreme. By the time the Rings of Power episode 10 came along, there would be an elf, like, literally flying.
Yeah. Do you prefer the Hobbit cartoon or the live-action Hobbit? Live action.
I would say live action if I had to watch one, but I can appreciate that the Hobbit cartoon is probably a better standalone movie.
There is far too much hard magic in this show. It's lazy writing and not Tolkien. Yeah, it's a tough one because we don't know too much about the magical system in Middle-earth. Right? It's not very clear what is and isn't possible. So it is quite tough. But I do think you're right. I do think we're seeing a little bit too much of it between the cultists or whatever they're called and the stranger. A little bit too much.
Yeah. We've had a super chat.
Rebecca Fryer, thank you very much. Will we get Glorfindel as Lord Flashheart arriving in Lindon shouting, woof, Galadriel? That would make this series epic.
I may be missing something, but I got no idea what.
Yeah,
Lord Flashheart.
I'm also a bit like, what? At this, I'm just going to say yes. Yeah.
Sure. Okay, wait. Now, this is the one that I just have to 100% agree with. Nothing is as bad as Alfred. Oh, wait. Sorry, I read that as The Hobbit. Nothing as bad as Alfred in The Hobbit.
I think they mean there's nothing as bad as Alfred
in The Rings of Power. Yeah, okay. With you. No, I would agree. Maybe. Yes.
Yeah, Alfred was just awful. Give it time, Galadriel will fly. Can you imagine? Can you imagine that? We're probably going to want to go in the next 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So we haven't done too much to answer the question of the stream. So
yeah, we've been having more of a fan chat.
This has been a discussion. Like I've enjoyed this. I always enjoy coming on and just chatting with you guys. But it's always nice to have an underlying theme of the video, of the live stream, like something we're trying to to answer, I guess. So, can it be saved, James?
Personally, I don't think so. I think it's too far gone. The writing up to this point has been poor at best at times. And the fact that obviously this was all just done in one go, I don't see how episode 8 is going to be a massive step up from what we've already had. It's just going to probably be more of the same. Season 2 potentially might get better. Okay, yes, they've started shooting, but maybe it depends on how much they're willing to step back and go, okay, let's rewrite some stuff as we go. But no, as for season 1, I think season 1 is pretty much a write-off. And I hate to say that, I really do.
I'm going to have to agree. I think they're too far gone with most aspects. I think they can bring the show back in following seasons. Don't get me wrong. But I feel like leaving any payoffs and moments that save past mistakes is it's just too late to do in one last episode in an 8-season show. I'm really concerned with the fact that they went from what was meant to be a 10-episode season to an 8-episode season, and it still felt really slow.
Yeah,
that's worrying about the standard of the writing in general. I don't think there's what's the word? I don't think there's a solution to the answer of who the stranger is if it's a character that we already know that I'm okay with, and the same with Halbrand, unless it's the King of the Dead, I think. The fact that we're probably going to have to deal with far more Harfoots going forward is frustrating because I just find them really boring. Yeah, they certainly can over the next season, let's say, do some repairing, but as for fixing this season, I don't think so. We did have a super chat though, a very generous one from Corey Cassell. Thank you so much. Redemption is Halbrand / Sauron use glamour magic, posing as one of the elf rangers following Galadriel her whole quest, setting up the forging of the rings, using her and laughing at her as all her effort fulfilled his design. One of the elf rangers following Galadriel.
So basically, Sauron disguises himself as a general soldier and follows Galadriel around messing up her plans.
To be honest, wouldn't write it off. But the issue with that is, I think if that was said in the writer's room, everyone would be like, I think that would just be very underwhelming, you know?
Yeah, and also, it always comes back to the thing of Galadriel should be able to, like, sense the evil there. Again, it's like in the writings, when Anatar's in Eregion, and Galadriel is supposed to be there at a similar time, is that although she can't directly say that it is Sauron and that person is pure evil, she cannot trust them. There's something deep in her that just goes, no, there's something not right about this person. They're not telling the truth. They're not who they say they are. There is something more at work than what they claim. So realistically, any character that Galadriel has been around and not been very suspicious of should not be Sauron. Like, I'm not saying she has to see them and second one go, nope, you're Sauron, you're the one I've been hunting for all this time. But she's got to have that distrust for them. Otherwise, in my opinion, it shouldn't work.
Yeah, but it's nice to see a fresh theory. So thank you very much for that, and thank you for the super chat. I just saw a comment there. She needs to die and be reborn as Galadriel the White.
No, Galadriel the Blanchett.
The Blanchett. Galadriel the Kate. Super chat from Ben G. I hope the Harfoots are wiped out in the season finale. That would be awesome. Yeah, it's a shame it was just their camp that got wiped out. Well, there's loads of super chats coming in at once. Yeah. Can you imagine?
I mean, yeah, that would have... I almost feel like with the... if they really wanted to make the cultists feel a bit more deadly, maybe one or two had to die with the fire. Not just the caravans, the actual Harfoots. Yeah. Not all of them, just one or two, you know.
Owen, that's a blast from the past. Where have you been? Why you've abandoned us? It has been a long time. We are very well, thank you. Hope you're well as well. Haven't seen any of the episodes. In your honest opinion, should I watch this series? Conflicting comments. Watch it, but don't have high expectations.
Yeah, I feel like that's the thing. I feel so many people went into the show first with such high expectations for it. It was going to be a letdown.
Yeah.
And because it hasn't been great, if you can go into it not expecting much, then I think you could potentially enjoy it if you really aren't hoping for it to be incredible.
Talking Mud Crab, super chat, thank you so much. I haven't seen the show, but what has been the worst, if any, law-breaking decision in the story?
Silmaril Mithril.
Yeah, I think that really hurt me as well. So they basically said that Mithril, that's been mined in Khazad-dûm,
Yep.
is all from a Silmaril.
Yeah, which completely takes away everything about the dwarves.
Yeah, and the fact that it is basically like life-saving steroids for the elves.
Yeah,
it's just weird.
Yeah, it's like a booster jab for them.
Yeah,
It's just
literally that, and the portrayal, the writing of Galadriel. Crazy. Thank you for the comment in the super chat. Yayan, I believe that's pronounced. Could you hypothesize how we might move with dignity from the mithril nonsense to the forging of the Rings of Power in Eregion? I mean, I feel like it's almost got to be separate at this point.
I mean, what I feel like they might try and do, or maybe it's more of a hope, is that Celebrimbor will take the idea of, I can make these rings, like what they actually do. Like the rings, the elven rings are supposed to be there to help them, like, boost up the entire lands and the realms that they live in.
Mm-hmm.
And he basically goes, well, if I make the elven rings out of mithril and give them to these great lords, then through that, through the enhancing of their lands and stuff and where they live, that will have the same effect.
Mm.
Now, I'm not saying it's right, but it kind of also means that, okay, so the mithril is then used for the rings and nobody needs a mithril bath.
We were literally hoping that the case would be this whole mithril Silmaril thing is a rumor spread by Sauron to make the elves think they're going to die. And then he goes, well, you can wear these rings that I have made. They will save you. And then the rings are like, the elves are like, oh, yes. Thank you, Anatar. You are the best.
Yeah.
And then he's just like, mwahaha.
Yeah.
That's how I thought it was going to go. But then they kind of made it clear that that's not the case. And mithril is just from a Silmaril. So now I don't know. I just,
Unless, okay. Slight side thought then. So, we've only seen one piece of mithril heal. That is the one that Durin threw, which Elrond gave back to him, which Elrond had given to Celebrimbor.
Mm-hmm.
Celebrimbor may have taken it in Eregion to Anatar, who did something to it to make it have that property with magic. So not all mithril will do that. Just that one specific piece that Anatar's actually managed to get his hands on did it, and that's how they're going to try and fix it. That all mithril does it, and it's actually not. It's dark things going on in the background because Celebrimbor got Anatar to have a look at it when they, whatever he did to it, to like examine it.
That would be cool, but it'd also be kind of hard to explain, I feel. But yeah.
I just did it in 2 seconds.
True. Daniel says, hope you guys are well. Love the chat when you get me through work. Glad we can help. Thanks for tuning in.
Did we have another super chat?
I think we did. Yes, there we go. First, Trev says episodes 6 and 7 were superb. Episode 6 was good. 7 was like they slammed the brakes on. Yeah. What does season 1 achieve? Mordor font change. Yeah, I hated that moment. Sen, thank you, says, did Galadriel's story even matter in season 1? Everything in Mordor would have happened with or without her involvement. Interesting.
Oh my god. Is Galadriel the Indiana Jones of this?
Oh no.
For those who don't know, Indiana Jones it's the first film, isn't it?
Yeah.
That you take him out of the film, nothing changes.
Yeah.
So your whole protagonist is pointless. Galadriel may be that character.
I'd have to have a proper think about that. She's probably bound to have done something.
I'm sure she has. I mean, she's taken Sauron to Numenor, so yeah.
I mean, Mordor may still have become a thing, but Halbrand, it's the future that probably
Numenor wouldn't have been there without her.
Yeah. True. I don't know. Interesting. Very interesting. Let's go 2 more minutes, guys, of questions, and then we will be gone. Do we think they'll bring Peter Jackson to save it? No.
Imagine Peter Jackson put out a video on his YouTube of coming back as Peter Jackson the White, and it's just like, and he's there with like a contract from Amazon.
I feel like that's the kind of Peter Jackson type thing. If I watch it in French, it may seem better, or possibly in Welsh. Couldn't be worse. Well, if you watch it in Welsh, it'll at least sound kind of elvish. Brilliant answer, guys. Diolch. Oh, you Welsh? Cymraeg?
Yeah, it's a Welsh name, isn't it?
Yeah. I guess that's how I knew how to pronounce it.
Yeah, true.
Sauron is clearly Halbrand. We've covered this so many times. It is very clear, but that's why hopefully it's not the case.
Also, the stranger is clearly Sauron.
Oh, we had another super chat.
And also, Poppy is clearly Sauron.
True. We didn't see this one. This was 3 minutes ago. Don't see how the Silmaril ended up in a tree when the remaining two were specifically lost in the deep earth and the ocean, respectively. I mean, I don't. Yeah, it is what it is, you know.
Yeah, I mean, they've completely changed the story for it, so we don't even know which one they're claiming it could be.
Yeah,
I think that's the issue, is people just can't see how these things have happened. Like, yeah.
It's one of for both of us. It's something that's really, really hard to get on board with, and I don't know what they can do to fix that. It's really tough. Thank you very much for your super chat. Do we have any more super chats that we've missed? I don't think so.
Nope.
No, I think we're good. Okay, another 30 seconds while we say our thank yous and goodbyes. Broken Sword's weakest video, better than Rings of Power best episode. We really appreciate that. And don't forget, we are literally working on our own fan film, I guess you could say. Our own fantasy short film. It's not set in Middle-earth specifically, but it's very much inspired by Tolkien's works, of course. So you'll see the inspiration there when it's done. We are working on it as we speak. We've got a massive, very important location viewing next week, which, again, if you're one of our patrons, you'll get to see some behind-the-scenes stuff for very soon. It's really exciting. So I'm hoping that we can show at least our capabilities with storytelling and filmmaking, and hopefully you guys feel that that's better than Rings of Power too.
In a way, I guess it's almost the pressure now of this has to back up all the stuff that we've said badly against the Rings of Power.
Yeah.
No pressure.
Eventually, you do plan on having Rings of Power on your Rings of Power show, right? I'm sure they'll make an appearance at some point. Oh, I haven't.
Well, I mean, think about it. In The Lord of the Rings barely has any screen time.
True. Very true. Very true. Oh, I've had another 2 super chats.
Oh, okay.
Ben, the season finale is just going to be a big middle finger across the screen. Can you imagine the
just
balls?
a really slow and rising up through the entire...
That'd be incredible. Great suggestion, Ben. D Tomcat. Also, very disappointed that they potentially kill off Isildur, and obviously Lord Celeborn is dead too, which, no.
Yeah.
Neither of them are going to be dead. It's too big of a decision. Isildur imagine they kill off Isildur. There'd be riots starting here.
If all they had to do was do that with Bronwyn or Arondir.
Yeah.
And then it could have worked so much better.
Hurry up and kill off Bronwyn. Jeez. I don't think either of them are dead. I think someone said it earlier in the chat that Celeborn will come back and it'll kind of level out Galadriel a bit. I think that's certainly the case.
He comes back and be like, what have you turned into? You are not the woman I married.
Yeah, it might be the case. But thank you for the super chat. We have another one. The only way they could backtrack on the Mithril story is that it's a lie to deceive Elrond into getting the Mithril for greedy elves. Yeah, that's kind of what we were getting at, I guess.
Yeah. It's just the hard part is you got to get around that it did heal the leaf. So that's the harder part to get around that. If we hadn't seen it heal anything, I would still be clinging to it's a made-up story. But because we've seen it actually have an effect on something, then yeah.
What do you guys think about the Rings of Power covers on the Lord of the Rings books? I hate it.
Hate it.
Same. Out of 500 plus watching, at least give the guys thumbs up for sticking through without changing channel name again. Hey, I mean, yeah, give us thumbs up. But also, we never wanted to change our channel name. Look,
No.
I'm still wearing a History of Middle-earth hat. We never ever wanted to change our channel name. We were happy with that.
The last stream, I'm pretty sure I was wearing a History of the Ages hoodie as well.
Really? Am I wearing? No, I'm not. But for those of you that don't know, we were History of Middle-earth. Got up to just over 100k, I think, followers. And then the Tolkien estate were like, hey, you can't use Middle-earth.
Mm-hmm.
So we changed it to History of the Ages. And then that got shut down. Then we changed it to the Broken Sword, and we also had another another attempt. You can't use the Broken Sword. Crazy. What a world we live in. Is that... Oh.
One more super chat's just come in.
I'll get there. Oh, God, it's so...
Keep going. There we go.
Mithril is basically Viagra for elves. Ben's on fire with these chats
And on
today.
that note...
Ben is on fire. Yeah, pretty much, Ben. Thanks for that. I know. Hey. Wearing my History of the Ages hoodie right now. That's a collector's edition right there. Yes. You cannot get them anywhere in the world unless you print them yourselves.
I would love to get some more merch up.
So would I.
For you guys, because
we've got some. We had some Broken Sword merch made for ourselves, which I love.
Yeah.
But we can't really sell. We could maybe get a load done and we'll sell them on our own store or something. I don't know. We'll figure it out. We'll get some merch back for you guys. Blake says, missed the old channel. You guys got me into the lore. Glad you stuck around. Thank you. No need to miss it, though, because this channel's better. When we started The Broken Sword, we made a conscious effort to improve the quality of our videos as much as we could. We invested in better audio equipment. We spend way more time on the edits. You know, I just feel like it's a better channel now. Another super chat. Corey again. Halbrand / Sauron poisoned the tree when posing as an elf ranger, all according to his design.
At this point, it's just Gil-galad, really, isn't it?
Yeah. Interesting, though. Interesting. I think that's all the super chats. You should have offered the 250 million. They'd let you do anything then. Yeah.
I mean, if I could afford it, I think I would have. If I could afford it to have bought the rights to do a show.
Yeah, same here. Quick question here. What are the chances of getting to see Glorfindel on the show? Love you guys. Cheers from Argentina.
Ooh, Argentina.
Love you too. I think we'll see him eventually. Not in this season.
Yeah. I'd feel so gutted if Glorfindel gets missed out of another adaptation.
Yeah.
Like, he's such a cool character.
Although this is a good point. Do you really want to see him get destroyed on this show? He could save it. Maybe Glorfindel is what we need.
Glorfindel could come in with a t-shirt of Make Rings of Power Great Again.
I'm going to address this comment. Stop hating on it and take it for what it is. Lord of the Rings did not stick to the canon books. No, it didn't. But it still had fantastic writing for a movie. This show does not have good writing. Again, there's a lot of things to love, but it's just not what I wanted. And that's why I'm disappointed. And on that note, I don't think it can be saved. Time to get out of here. Oh, another one. Start with your HME, but too broke to buy merchandise before you changed History of the Ages. Then that went down before I could get second merch. Love my hoodie. I never wash it. Does it still smell like us?
we didn't wear them before they were sold.
True. All right, appreciate it.
It's not a thing we did on our store.
True. Guys, this has been a fun one. We really apologise for the technical difficulties in the middle of this. Hopefully the audio quality stuck up and did well from then on, and the video quality for that matter. Watch Party Friday.
Yes.
Hell yeah, it's the finale.
Yes,
It's the last one where we get to do a watch party with you guys. No, not watch party, after party.
Yeah, after party. I will get it set up when we're done on here. So yeah.
Yeah.
Make sure you get notified of that and come and tune in for the last one.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, we don't quite hit the 400 plus people in our early morning after parties.
No.
So come and join us.
Yeah, I'd love to see. We had over 500 people at one point on this. I'd love to see that amount on our after party.
That'd be amazing.
About somewhere around 8 a.m. British time, somewhere around there. Tune in. Guys, thank you all for tuning in today, for hanging out with us. Thank you for the super chats. Thank you for the comments. Thank you for the views. As always, we love you all. We appreciate it. And we will see you next time on The Broken Sword.
Bye, guys.